What if 96% of all life vanished overnight?
96% of all life vanished overnight.
But Earth has faced this oblivion 5 separate times. These are the 5 tiers of planetary annihilation. We begin with the least severe, the 5th extinction. Known as the Quaternary extinction event, primarily affecting large animals. Loss estimates hover around 1% of marine species. Moving up the scale, we examine the 4th extinction, the Triassic-Jurassic event. But this event cleared the way for the age of dinosaurs to truly begin. Roughly 80% of all species perished during this transition. And now that we understand the 4th tier, let's explore the 3rd. The late Devonian extinction was a prolonged, drawn-out affair. Marine environments suffered severely, particularly reef-building organisms. And about 75% of all life forms were ultimately erased. This protracted crisis fundamentally altered the course of vertebrate evolution. The primary drivers remain debated, likely climate instability and anoxia. But we now ascend to the 2nd most devastating catastrophe, the Ordovician event. Happening over 443 million years ago, this was Earth's earliest major crisis. The main trigger involved rapid global cooling and massive glaciation. A sea level retreat devastated shallow water ecosystems instantly. Approximately 85% of all marine species vanished during this event. A subsequent warming phase caused further stress and secondary extinctions. This event reset the stage for complex life to begin its ascent. And we have explored tiers 5, 4, 3, and 2 in succession. But only one cataclysm remains, the undisputed champion of biological erasure. The Permian-Triassic boundary, 252 million years ago, the Great Dun. This event extinguished up to 96% of all marine species. On land, terrestrial vertebrate losses reached an unprecedented 70% total. But ocean acidification, massive warming, and widespread anoxia were the triple threats. A recovery from this catastrophe took nearly 10 million years to stabilize. This massive die-off created the vacant ecological niches for the dinosaurs. Finally, we revisit the most famous impact event, the Cretaceous extinction. Though less severe numerically, its effect on dominant megafauna was absolute. The immediate darkness choked off the base of the entire food web. The non-avian dinosaurs, filling the largest niches, could not adapt fast enough. It was the small, adaptable creatures that ultimately inherited the Earth. And the KP event eliminated about 75% of species overall. So, the Permian remains the undisputed #1 in sheer totality. What links these crises? Massive, rapid planetary system destabilization. Well, life always finds a way, but the toll is measured in millions of years. A protagonist's journey begins now. Observing these patterns is key. Our protagonist seeks to understand the thresholds that trigger collapse. The complexity lost in these events represents specialized evolutionary pathways. Survivors often possess generalist traits suited for harsh instability. The recovery isn't instant, it's a multi-million-year process of diversification. The protagonist realizes understanding geology is understanding biological fate. Each extinction recalibrated the planet's fundamental ecological rules. The key takeaway involves understanding feedback loops that amplify initial shocks. But these events prove that stability is an illusion on geological timescales. But the Ordovician survivors built entirely new, more complex marine structures. The Devonian extinctions actually favored early land plants and amphibians. The Triassic gap allowed the rise of the mighty archosaurs. The protagonist understands that extinction is merely forced evolutionary redirection. I.e., resilience is encoded not in success, but in the ability to endure bottlenecks. The ranking is clear: Permian maximum devastation, Cretaceous most famous ship. These historical events offer profound lessons for the present planetary condition. But current rates of species loss suggest a potential sixth extinction underway. The protagonist realizes knowledge of the past prevents repeating catastrophic errors. Our goal is to manage planetary resources to avoid these thresholds. The 5 tiers serve as stark reminders of life's profound, yet contingent, existence. By understanding the scale of extinction is the first step toward ensuring continuity.